Welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario, and I'm Marie. This is our soup or stew Saturday. However, I'm deviating. I am making a risotto. And the reason I am doing this is because it's a hearty meal, lovely in the winter, lovely all the time actually. Make a risotto in the middle of summer and add some fresh peas. Oh my goodness, how wonderful is that? However, one thing about risotto is if you do it traditionally, you need to have your arborio rice, and it must be arborio rice. You cannot substitute long grain or short grain rice for this. You need it to be that rice pasta consistency. But when you're making it traditionally, what you're going to do is as you're cooking your rice, you have a hot stock and you add a ladle at a time and you stir gently and you watch over it for a good 20 minutes. I don't have that kind of luxury of sitting over a stove and just watching it for 20 minutes. So I'd say about 3 years ago, I made a risotto in the Instant Pot. Oh my goodness, it's a life changer. And I know I do these Instant Pot recipes and people say, I don't have an Instant Pot. If you're on a homestead or you're a working family that needs to get dinner done quick, an Instant Pot is really honestly a good investment. They are not sponsoring me. I do have a link to the Amazon site, and I do get a commission if you buy it from that link. However, it's a very small commission. The reason I'm doing this is because I truly believe it's a life changer for anybody to have in their household. I bought one. I loved it. I ended up buying one for my brother who's out in BC and had it delivered there. That was their family Christmas gift because they have 3 growing boys. And meals for them are difficult also. My son bought his first house, and first thing I bought him was an Instant Pot so he can make meals without stressing over it. So I am going to show you the technique for making this beautiful, no watch over risotto. It turns out every single time. I'm not kidding. Every single time it's a no-fail recipe. And then afterward, I'm going to make a double batch because you know me and my double batches, and I'll do another video of arancini. So that will be the leftover risotto and what to do with it. The thing is, when making arancini, you do need to have it cooked, cold overnight, and then make it the next day. It's not one of those, I'll make a risotto and make some arancini. Doesn't work, they always fall apart. So trust me, this is from my experience. It's worth learning to make a risotto in an Instant Pot. And you can, instead of using an animal broth like chicken, duck, veal, beef, any of those stocks, you can do a vegetable stock and make it a vegetarian meal. It won't be vegan because you definitely need the cheese and you definitely need the butter, but it can be a vegetarian meal for you. So join me today as we make some risotto.
We're going to be using the Instant Pot, and if you don't have one, I will put a link in the description box. We're going to use 4 tablespoons of butter, some oil, some of our homegrown mushrooms that I sauteed and froze, some onion, garlic, those are both homegrown, some white wine and our mushroom stock, and of course the arborio rice. Now you'll also need some salt and pepper and some Italian herbs that I grew in the garden and dried, and also we'll be adding some Parmesan cheese. Now with the Instant Pot, we're going to start off with this saute mode, and it automatically goes to 30 minutes. And then in our pot, we will be adding our butter, and it will slowly start to melt, and just a little bit of oil so that the butter does not brown. We're just going to get it to a nice temperature to saute our vegetables. And when your pot is nice and hot, then you add in your onions. Now you could use red onions or shallots. We grow some red onions, so that's what we use. But if you have shallots on hand, they work great. And all you're doing is softening them up, and then we add our garlic. You always want to add your garlic after your onions to make sure that it doesn't burn and then you'd get that bitter taste. We don't want that. We want that beautiful garlicky perfume. Once these are sauteed nicely, then we're going to get ready to add our mushrooms. We actually grow our mushrooms on the property, and then what I do to preserve them is cut them up, saute them in butter, and put them in freezer bags so then I can pull them out for recipes such as this. Now what I'm going to do is just chop them up a bit and add them to our pot. Excuse the steam, the camera was right above the pot, and it is what it is. This is real life. So I'm going to just, mix in those mushrooms, warm them up because they were cold from the fridge. And once I have everything at a nice little boil, I'm going to add my herbs. I use the herbs that I've grown in the garden. I dry them and just mix them all up together and make my own Italian seasoning. I then add a bit of pepper, and that's freshly ground. And here goes half a cup of white wine. This will cook off, so don't worry, this will not affect children. But if you did want to leave it out, just increase your stock by half a cup. To this, I add my Arborio rice. What I'm going to do is just mix it in really well so that all the liquid is around them. It's not like toasting them, but I am mixing them in well and dispersing the mushrooms throughout. I do let it boil just a little tiny bit. I'm not adding salt at this point because the Parmesan will have salt. And to this, I add my stock. The recipe is 4.5 cups of stock. I'm using mushroom stock. You can use chicken, vegetable, whatever your heart desires. If you didn't use wine, increase the stock by half a cup. To seal and set your timer, we are going to just cancel the saute and then go to pressure cook for 6 minutes. That's it, 6 minutes on high pressure. That is it, folks. It will not take long. Here we go. Time is almost up. And once it reaches the 0 mark, we are going to do a quick release. What that means is you're going to release the steam from the pot. So I normally put a dishcloth over just to keep it from spewing anywhere and turn the lever to release. So you can see the steam's coming out on the sides. It takes about a minute to release all the steam. When that little red tab drops, you know the steam has come out of the pot and it's no longer under pressure. I know the sound that I'm looking for, so when I hear the sound releasing, I usually help that little knob go down because I know it's going to take not very much longer, so I just press it down with a spoon or some kind of device. See, I'm very impatient, so I'm just going to knock it down with a spoon. That meant, if it stayed down, that meant the pressure's done. And I don't have to worry about any dangers of opening this pot. There's no fear. Now, when you open up the pot, you think, oh my goodness, it's soupy. It didn't work. No, 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 my friends. It did work. All you're going to do is stir this up and everything will come beautifully creamy. And it's just stirring it around gently. You're not going to make mush out of this by stirring it, so don't worry. And as you see, that liquid is being absorbed into everywhere. This is a beautiful, beautiful creamy risotto. To this now, I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese, and I did finely grate it, more so than I normally would do, and the reason is I want it to blend in really well. And it melts much quicker when it's this fine. Now I do that in my Vitamix dry container, which I find is a great way to grate cheese finely. So here we go. Look at how simple this is. And it smells so friggin' fantastic. So all you gotta do is I'm gonna dish myself up a little tiny bit to taste, and we will be having this for our dinner. It's beautiful, it's creamy, no worry, no standing over the pot, adding stock, and going over and over and stirring. So take a bite, enjoy, and I hope you try this because it is really, really delicious. And if you like this type of content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends so that you too can enjoy all these wonderful, wonderful things I'm sharing with you. And stick around because I will be posting arancini. This is what I do with my leftover risotto, and I'm sure you could enjoy this. So if you're enjoying this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and do hit that notification bell so that you know when I'll be posting this recipe and demo. I hope you try my risotto using the Instant Pot, and as always, have a great day, and please always live your best life.